My son ordered me to clean his wife's shoes while laughing. The laughter is what stays with me the longest. Not loud, not cruel in the way movies show it, but casual, comfortable. The kind of laughter that assumes there will never be consequences. I stand there in the hallway of the house I paid for, holding a cleaning cloth that smells faintly of lemon polish, while my son leans against the wall with his arms crossed, smiling like this is a joke we're all supposed to enjoy. His wife doesn't even look at me. She simply lifts her foot slightly, resting it on the edge of the chair, waiting. For a moment, I think this is some kind of test. A bad joke taken too far. I wait for him to stop laughing, to wave it off, to say he's kidding. He doesn't. The silence stretches thick and heavy, broken only by the hum of the air conditioner. That's when I understand this isn't about shoes. It's about position. About where he thinks I belong now. I kneel down slowly. Not because I accept the order, but because I need time. Time to think. Time to let the truth settle. The floor is cold through my pants. I hear my son snort softly, amused by how easily the moment bends in his favor. I wipe the dust from the sole, careful, deliberate, my movements calm. Inside, something clicks into place, quiet and precise. This didn't start today. Today is just the moment he stopped pretending. Years ago, I signed papers trusting him with accounts, access, authority. I told myself it was responsibility. I told myself a father should step back eventually. What I didn't do was teach him the difference between being trusted and being untouchable. That mistake is mine. When I finish, I stand, fold the cloth neatly, and place it on the table. No words, no reaction. That seems to disappoint him more than anger would have. He wanted humiliation to echo, to linger. Instead, he gets nothing. I walk past them both, feeling their eyes on my back, and head toward the small room I use as an office. The door closes softly behind me. Inside, the room feels smaller than it used to. A desk, a chair, a laptop I rarely use anymore. I sit down and take a breath, steady and slow. My hands don't shake. They haven't for a long time. I open the laptop, connect to the network, and log in with credentials I never gave up. I told myself I kept them for emergencies. I didn't know this would be the emergency. The numbers appear on the screen, familiar and orderly. This account was always meant as a safety net. For him, for the family, for the future. Somewhere along the way, he decided the net was a throne. I moved through the screens carefully, reading everything twice, confirming details. There's no rush. I have already decided what happens next. From the other room, I hear laughter again. Glass clinking. Life continuing as if nothing irreversible is unfolding a few feet away. That's the strange thing about moments like this. They don't announce themselves. They slip in quietly while everyone else is busy feeling powerful. I initiate the transfer, not all at once, step by step. Each confirmation feels less like revenge and more like correction. I'm not taking what isn't mine, I'm reclaiming responsibility. The clock on the wall ticks forward. 10 minutes, 20, 30. The system processes without resistance, just as it always has. When it's done, I close the laptop and sit back. The room is silent again. I don't feel triumph. I feel clarity. The kind that comes when confusion finally leaves. I stand, grab the small bag I packed weeks ago without knowing why, and walk out of the room. They're in the kitchen now, backs turned, still talking. I pause at the doorway for a moment, looking at them like strangers in a place that no longer belongs to me. Then I open the front door and step outside. The air feels different, lighter. My phone vibrates in my pocket, but I don't check it. Whatever is happening inside that house will unfold without me now. I get into my car, start the engine, and drive away without looking back, already knowing that by the time he realizes what's missing, I'll be gone. I don't drive fast, there's no need. Panic belongs to people who don't know where they're going. I do. The road stretches ahead of me, familiar at first, then slowly turning into something new. Traffic lights change. Cars pass. Somewhere behind me, a house still thinks it owns my silence. Somewhere ahead, a life I put on hold for years is quietly waiting. My phone vibrates again, then again, I let it ring. I already know the order of events inside that house. First confusion, then irritation. Then the slow, creeping fear when irritation doesn't fix anything. He'll walk back into that small office, still smiling, still confident, expecting the world to stay where he left it. He'll open the laptop, maybe to check something trivial, and that's when the air will change. I imagine the way his smile fades, the way his shoulders stiffen. He'll refresh the page once, twice, thinking it's a glitch. He's always trusted systems more than people. When the numbers don't come back, he'll stand up too fast, chair scraping the floor. His wife will ask what's wrong, irritation already in her voice, because problems are never supposed to interrupt comfort. He won't answer right away. He'll check his phone. Then he'll start to sweat. By the time I stop for gas, there are missed calls stacked on my screen. My name fills the display like an accusation. I don't answer. I never taught him how to handle silence, only how to benefit from it. That lesson is overdue. I step out of the car, the smell of fuel sharp in the air, and stretch my back slowly. For the first time in years, my body feels aligned with my decisions. Inside the station, the television murmurs with news I don't watch. I pay in cash. Old habits return easily when they're useful. Back in the car, I allow myself one glance at the phone. A text has come through, the tone already shifting. Shorter now, less confident. He's asking what happened. Not demanding, asking. That change tells me everything. As I merge back onto the highway, I think about the years that led here. About every moment I stayed quiet to keep peace. Every time I ignored the tightening in my chest when respect thinned into expectation. I remember signing documents at a kitchen table, trusting that blood meant loyalty, that family meant safety. I mistook proximity for character. That's a mistake many men my age make. We think love is enough to guide someone. It isn't. Structure is. Accountability is. The calls start coming faster. I turn the phone face down again. 40 minutes ago, he laughed while ordering me to clean shoes. Right now, he's learning how quickly power dissolves when it's borrowed. The money was never the point. Control was. And control, unlike money, doesn't tolerate arrogance. I pull off the road as the sun starts lowering, painting the sky in muted colors. The motel is unremarkable, which suits me fine. I check in without conversation and carry my bag inside. The room smells like detergent and old carpet. I sit on the bed and let the quiet settle. This quiet is different from the one back home. This one doesn't judge me. It doesn't expect anything. My phone lights up again. A new message, longer this time. He's explaining now. Explaining is the sound of someone realizing they no longer hold leverage. He mentions stress, misunderstandings, jokes taken the wrong way. He doesn't apologize. Not yet. That will come later, after fear has time to mature. I place the phone on the table and walk into the bathroom, splashing water on my face. I look at my reflection without searching for answers. I already have them. A father's job is not to protect his children from consequences forever. It's to prepare them for the moment consequences arrive without warning. When I come back out, there are more messages. His wife has started texting too. Hers are sharper, accusatory. She doesn't understand what's happening yet. She still believes volume can replace authority. I don't respond to her either. Silence, when used correctly, is louder than any argument. I sit by the window and watch the parking lot fill with shadows. Somewhere my son is pacing, phone in hand, trying to negotiate with a situation that doesn't negotiate. He will check accounts again. He will call banks. He will hear words like authorized, finalized, and completed. Each word will land like a weight. And somewhere between those words, he will realize this isn't a mistake. It's a decision. That realization is the real transfer, not the money. The understanding that the man he reduced to a servant was never powerless. He was simply patient. Morning arrives quietly, the way it always does when a storm is still forming somewhere else. I wake before the alarm, not because I'm anxious, but because my body is used to responsibility. For decades, my days began before anyone else's, not out of duty, but out of habit. Even now, with nothing demanding my attention, that rhythm remains. I sit on the edge of the bed and listen to the low hum of traffic outside, a reminder that the world doesn't pause just because one family is unraveling. I turn my phone face up for the first time since last night. The screen is crowded, missed calls. Messages stacked so tightly, they blur together. My name has been typed in anger, fear, confusion, and finally something close to panic. I don't open them yet. I shower slowly, letting the water run longer than necessary, washing away the smell of that house, that hallway, that moment on my knees that he thought defined me. By the time I dress and sit down with a cup of coffee from the small machine in the room, I'm ready. I open the first message. His words are different now. The confidence is gone. He's not asking questions anymore. He's stating problems. Accounts frozen. Cards declined. Calls not returning what he expects. He says there must be a mistake. That word again, mistake. As if intention could accidentally arrange itself so neatly. I scroll further. The timeline is clear. At first he's irritated, then defensive, then confused, then angry. Somewhere near the bottom, the anger breaks, and something raw shows through. He asks where I am. Not why I did it. Where? Location has become more important than pride. That tells me the situation is worse than he's letting on. I stand by the window and look out at the pale morning light. I think about the conversations he must be having right now. With his wife first. Accusations flying back and forth, neither willing to accept responsibility. Then with her family. Those conversations will be quieter, heavier. Promises made based on money that no longer exists have a way of collapsing trust very quickly. Respect drains fast when it realizes it was rented. I know the pressure he's under because I've been under it before. I've felt the weight of expectations that weren't mine. Obligations I didn't agree to but carried anyway because someone had to. The difference is, I never blamed someone else when the balance tipped. He will, he already is. The phone rings again. I let it ring until it stops. A moment later, a new message arrives. Short, careful. He says he's sorry about yesterday. He says he didn't mean it the way it sounded. He says things got out of hand. The words are arranged the way people arrange furniture when they're trying to hide damage. Strategic, not sincere. I finally reply. Just once. One sentence. I tell him I'm safe. Nothing more. That single response is enough to pull him closer to the edge. His reply comes instantly, desperate now, asking where I went, when I'm coming back. What needs to be done to fix this? Fix. As if this is a cracked window instead of a collapsed foundation. I put the phone down and finish my coffee. I don't owe him answers yet. Clarity without accountability is just comfort, and he's had enough of that. I pack my bag and check out, nodding politely to the clerk who doesn't know my name or my history. That anonymity feels earned. The drive takes me farther from the places he knows. Each mile puts space between me and the version of myself that accepted disrespect in exchange for peace. I stop once for lunch, sitting alone in a quiet diner. Families eat around me, children laughing, parents distracted, unaware of how quickly roles can reverse if lines aren't drawn early. I eat slowly, watching steam rise from the plate, thinking about how many meals I paid for without being present, believing provision was enough. Another message arrives while I'm there. This one isn't from him, it's from his wife. Her tone has shifted too. No longer sharp, now calculated. She says there's been a misunderstanding, that emotions were high. That family should talk things through. She mentions stress, pressure. She doesn't mention the shoes. She doesn't mention the laughter. Some details are inconvenient once power changes hands. I don't respond, not to her, not to him. Instead, I make a call of my own. A quiet call, to someone who has handled my affairs for years, someone who understands discretion. I confirm what I already know. Everything is secure, final, clean. There will be no reversal, no pleading exception. Responsibility has returned to its rightful place, and it isn't moving again. As the afternoon wears on, the messages change tone once more. Now there's anger mixed with fear. He accuses me of betrayal. Irony has never stopped people from speaking. He says I've ruined him, that I've embarrassed him, that I've turned his family against him. Not once does he mention his own actions. Not once does he acknowledge the moment that started all of this. Accountability is still somewhere behind him, struggling to catch up. I reach my destination as evening approaches. Another quiet place, temporary but intentional. I sit in the room as the sun fades, reading the last message he sends that day. It's shorter than the rest. He asks if we can talk, no demands, no explanations, just a question. I set the phone down and look around the room. I don't feel victorious. I feel settled. There's a difference. Victory is loud and hungry. Settlement is calm and complete. Tomorrow, I'll decide what comes next. For now, it's enough to know that the man who laughed while ordering me to kneel is learning, slowly and painfully, what it means to stand on ground you didn't earn. I sleep deeper than I have in years. Not because the bed is comfortable, but because my mind is finally quiet. There's no calculation running in the background, no silent negotiation between pride and peace. When I wake, the morning light rests softly on the wall, and for the first time in a long while, I don't feel behind on anything. I sit there for a moment, listening to my own breathing, grounding myself in the simple fact that I chose this path fully awake. My phone is still where I left it. No missed calls during the night. That tells me everything. Panic has burned itself out, leaving exhaustion in its place. People only stop calling when they realize volume won't bring control back. I make coffee, sit at the small table, and finally read the last message again. Can we talk? It's not an apology. It's not accountability. But it's the beginning of something different, even if he doesn't know it yet. I don't answer right away. Instead, I think about what talking means now. For most of his life, talking meant me explaining, softening, adjusting so he wouldn't feel challenged. That version of conversation is gone. If we speak again, it will be on equal ground, not because money changed hands, but because roles have been corrected. Late morning, I step outside. The air is cool, steady. I take a walk without destination, something I never allowed myself to do before. Responsibility always came with urgency back then. Today, responsibility feels different. It feels like ownership of my own time. As I walk, I think about the moment in that hallway, the cloth in my hand, the laughter. That image no longer burns. It instructs. It reminds me why this had to happen. By noon, I decide it's time, not to return, but to speak. I sit back down, pick up the phone, and call him. He answers on the first ring. His voice is different, lower, careful. He says my name the way he used to when he was younger, when he needed help and knew he'd pushed too far. That alone tells me the lesson is already working. He starts talking fast, words tumbling over each other. He explains pressures, expectations, mistakes. He says things escalated. He says he didn't mean for it to go that far. I let him talk. I don't interrupt. Silence is doing the heavy lifting now. When he finally stops, I wait a few seconds longer than necessary before responding. I tell him calmly that what happened wasn't about shoes. It was about respect. About how easily he chose humiliation when he thought there would be no cost. I tell him the money was never hidden, never stolen. It was entrusted, and that trust was broken the moment he forgot who gave it. I don't raise my voice. I don't accuse. I state facts the way you state the weather. He asks where I am. I tell him I'm safe. He asks when I'm coming back. I tell him I don't know. That answer unsettles him more than anger ever could. He asks what he needs to do. That question matters. Not because it fixes anything immediately, but because it shows he finally understands something is required of him. I tell him the account will remain closed to him, permanently. That my absence is not punishment, but consequence. That if we have a relationship moving forward, it will be one built on respect, not access. I tell him he doesn't get to order humility from someone who taught him how to stand. The line goes quiet. I let it stay that way. Eventually, he says he's sorry, not perfectly. Not eloquently, but without explanation this time. Just the words, standing on their own. I accept the apology without forgiving the behavior. Those are two different things, and I make sure he understands that. Forgiveness heals the past. Boundaries protect the future. When the call ends, I don't feel relief. I feel clarity. The kind that settles into your chest and stays there. I don't know what his marriage will look like after this. I don't know how long it will take him to rebuild what he damaged. That part is no longer mine to manage. What is mine is the standard I live by from here on. I spend the rest of the day planning my next steps. Quiet ones, practical ones. I'm not disappearing out of spite. I'm repositioning with intention. I choose where I stay, who I see, what I fund. For the first time, those choices are guided by self-respect instead of obligation. As evening falls, I sit by the window again, watching the world move without me needing to direct it. Somewhere, my son is living with the consequences of a moment he thought was harmless. Somewhere, he's learning that power borrowed from kindness is not ownership, it's stewardship. And stewardship ends the moment respect does. I don't smile about what happened. I don't celebrate it. I accept it, because the lesson wasn't for him alone. It was for me too. I waited too long to teach it, but I taught it cleanly. And sometimes, the most important thing a father can give his child isn't protection or money or patience. It's the understanding that dignity has a price, and if you don't pay it willingly, life will collect it for you.